welcome to the December 4th, 2024 Penfield Town Board Legislative Meeting. Would PAC 250 please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? Please stand.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Will the town clerk please call the roll?
Barry.
Here.
Lee.
Here.
Leenhouts.
Here.
Ockenden.
Here.
Teglash.
Here.
Okay, I'm going to move the agenda a bit and ask the Penfield cheerleading team to join us up front. And when they come up front, you can stand up. And while you're doing that, I'm going to read this proclamation. So, sectional champs celebrating the Penfield High School Varsity Game Day cheerleading team. Whereas the Penfield High School Varsity Game Day cheerleading team won the 2024 Section 5 Class A Game Day cheerleading title in November. Whereas the team displayed, the team narrowly missed winning several local competitions. And whereas despite the setbacks in a team that includes 4 new varsity athletes, the team did not give up and continued to push ahead. And whereas the hard work paid off as the team won its first ever game day cheerleading title, advancing to the state competition. Now be it resolved on behalf of the entire Penfield community, the Penfield Town Board is honored to recognize this incredible group. The Town Board extends its congratulations and thanks the team for representing the town of Penfield well. And if you can hang in there, I think we're gonna do a picture, right?
Yep, I think if you guys want to stand up
The town
behind
board
her.
can join us.
The team is formed in perfect formation,
Yeah, well-
as expected. Very impressed. They've done that several times, I'm sure. I was going to say, tall people in the, I'm sure, yes.
Is that all ready? That was perfect. We didn't have to move close. Ready? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and 3. Does anyone want to get it? Okay, there we go. Don't move it. Make sure we get everybody. Good.
You probably remember some.
Yeah, 8th grade. 7th and 8th grade, I think.
You're welcome to hang out, but we'll give you a minute to disband. Thanks for coming, everybody.
Thank you.
Drive safe. So next, we'll let them roll out of here. So next up, I want to recognize a special gentleman that I recently met, George Stites. He recently celebrated his 100th birthday and a Penfield legend, and I've heard a lot of stories about George. And it's a very small town. I'll read this really quick, but I just got to share. I met him, and first thing he said was, "Oh, I coached against your father in Wayne County," and he mentioned Coach Mepham, who played soccer with my dad in Ontario. My dad grew up on a dairy farm, and Coach Mepham turned out to be my soccer coach at Brighton. And so, small world, I say it every day. But it was awesome meeting George. So I'll just read the proclamation pretty quick here. Whereas Mr. George Stites has long been a fixture in Penfield community and celebrating his 100th birthday, And whereas long before becoming a beloved figure in the community he is today, Mr. Stites courageously served the United States Army during World War II, including landing on the beaches of Normandy during the D-Day invasion. And whereas following his service after obtaining his college degree, Mr. Stites moved to the Rochester area, eventually arriving in the town of Penfield in 1954 as a teacher and coach at Penfield High School. Whereas Stites led the Penfield soccer, basketball, and baseball teams during his tenure, amassing over 1,000 wins, several league titles, and sectional titles. And whereas he was named National High School Coach of the Year in 1984 and inducted into the New York State Soccer Hall of Fame, and whereas along the way he impacted countless lives through his mentorship as a teacher and coach, and whereas even in retirement he continued to stay involved in Penfield community as a referee, working until age 95, and he's sharp as a tack, by the way. Now, therefore, be it resolved that Penfield Town Board is honored to celebrate his 100th birthday of Mr. George Stites, along with his lasting impacts on multiple generations of Penfield residents. So congratulations, George. I assume you're not watching, but I'll wave. Okay, so first order of business is communication announcements, and I'll start with our town clerk, Ms. Teglash.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. The town's annual Christmas tree lighting will be held this Friday, December 6th, from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. at the Penfield Community Center, 1985 Baird Road, so not at Shuffleburger Park. The tree will be lit at 6:15. There will be an ornament-making station, hot cocoa donated by the Penfield Business Chamber, and a special visit from Santa. I hope to see you all there. Secondly, I want to mention our Hanukkah celebration. Hanukkah begins later than usual this year, starting the evening of December 25th and continuing through January 2nd. In celebration of Hanukkah, the 11th annual menorah lighting event will be held on Monday, December 30th at 4:30 p.m. in the Four Corners of Penfield at Shuffleburger Park. Donuts and potato pancakes, known as latkes, will be served, and all are welcome to attend. And because this will be the last meeting of our 2024 year for Town Board, I do wish everybody a very happy holiday season.
Thank you, Amy. Councilwoman Teglash, please.
Join the Penfield Trails Committee for a nature exploration event at Sherwood Fields, located at 2514 Penfield Road. Explore this 40-acre farm fields, some open meadow, some forest, split by commission ditch. Primary trails are accessible. Meet at the parking lot. The event is on December 14th, Saturday, December 14th, at 10 a.m. The location is 2514 Penfield Road. The event is free, but please register at penfield.org/hike. Along with the holidays, the town offices will be closed Wednesday, December 25th, and Wednesday, January 1st. Please note that they'll be closed those days. Everyone, happy holidays. Also, our holiday schedule is reduced. December and January, Tuesday, Thursday, December 24th to 26th. Tuesday, December 31st at 2 p.m., which is New Year's Eve, and then Wednesday, January 1st, will be closed.
Okay, Councilman Bob Ockenden.
Thank you. I have a few reminders from our Department of Public Works that I'd like to pass along tonight. First is keeping leaves out of our storm drains. Storm drain blockage is a critical issue, posing dangers to cyclists, motorists, and causing environmental harm to streams and lakes, increasing flood risks and burdening communities with elevated stormwater maintenance costs. But there are ways you can help make a difference. Keep leaves off our streets. Avoid raking or blowing leaves into the road, as they can be swept into storm drains and lead to these blockages. Mow away from the pavement when mowing your lawn. Direct clippings away from the driveways and sidewalks to keep them off of the streets. Sweep or blow clippings back onto the lawn. If clippings do end up on the pavement, take a moment and return them to the grass. Another option is making compost. Transform yard waste, including leaves and grass clippings, into valuable compost material. Not only will this reduce waste, but it will also enrich your garden and reduce the need for fertilizers. By following these simple practices, you can play a vital role in preserving your community's safety, the beauty of its water bodies, and the well-being of your fellow residents. And secondly, just a reminder about our winter parking restrictions. The snow is starting to arrive, but just a reminder again, the restrictions are in effect from November 15th to April 1st. These restrictions include a prohibition on parking vehicles on our streets, roads, road shoulders, highways, residential streets, and cul-de-sacs between the hours of 2 a.m. and 7 a.m. For more information regarding snow and ice management in Penfield, you can visit our website at penfield.org/snow. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Kevin. Barry.
The holiday season is approaching quickly, and the Penfield Ecumenical Food Shelf is seeking your support through volunteers, supplies, and financial contributions. If you want to make a positive impact on the lives of families in Penfield who are in need, we encourage you to take action today. To learn how to get involved, please visit the Food Shelf's website or send an email for more information. The website is www.penfieldecumenicalfoodshelf.com, and the email is penfieldfoodshelf@gmail.com. Your help can make a world of difference this holiday season. Join us for the annual Holiday Blast in Penfield on Saturday, December 14th from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. at the Penfield Community Center, 1985 Baird Road. Enjoy games, crafts, music, and a surprise guest from the North Pole. More details are available at www.penfield.org/events. And you can send your letters to Santa. Spread the joy of the holiday season by sending letters to Santa Claus through Penfield Recreation. What to expect? Santa will read each letter. Your child will receive a personal reply just in time for Christmas. Please ensure all letters are postmarked by December 9th and include a return address for Santa's response. For questions, contact Penfield Recreation at 585-340-8655, option 0. And you can mail your letters here. Santa Claus, care of Penfield Recreation, 1985 Baird Road, Penfield, New York, 14526. Let's make this Christmas special for our community.
Thank you, Kevin. Councilwoman Candace, please. Candace Lee. I had to think about it for a minute. I don't know why. Go ahead. Sorry.
Good evening. Thank you, everyone, for being here tonight. We have several board and committees that participate for the town, and we always invite residents to submit an interest if they'd like to join one of the boards and committees. Even if there aren't any vacancies, we always keep applications on file, but we will be opening the Energy and Environment Conservation Committee due to a vacancy that's occurring on that board. So we will be posting that shortly for applications and interests there. High school students are also encouraged to participate, but they will not have voting privileges on official matters because they're young, and we like to keep those reserved for other residents. But it's a good way to gain civic experience and learn on certain aspects of the board. 2025 lodge and shelter reservations open to residents on December 4th. Please check the website to make your reservations there. And then non-residents will open on January 2nd in the new year. So we'd like to give our residents an opportunity to secure their spots first. And speaking of the holiday, our community menorah lighting is scheduled for December 30th at 4:30 p.m. at Penfield Four Corners. Thank you.
Thank you. I have a couple. So Christmas tree recycling, drop-off of non-artificial trees anytime at the Town Highway Garage, 1607 Jackson Road, on the right side of the facility gates. Drop-off trees anytime. Details available at penfield.org. And thank you for recycling. And then the Penfield Pops Band has a concert coming up. Celebrate the season with joyful sounds of the Penfield Pops Band. Enjoy an evening of holiday favorites and timeless classics that are sure to warm your heart and lift your spirits. This is Monday, December 9th at Bay Trail Middle School Auditorium, and admission's free. It starts at 7 o'clock. And then the PSO, the Penfield Symphony Orchestra Holiday Classics Concert is upcoming as well, December 6th at 7:30 at the Penfield High School. And tickets for this are available for purchase at www.penfieldsymphony.org, or you can call 585-872-0774. Okay. So we have two public hearings. I'm going to make actually a little statement, too, to get it ahead. I'm not sure if people are here for the library, but I just want to say a few words. First of all, I just want to mention, and then we can get in the public hearing, but I want to mention I had great conversations with Brett Holly, actually after Thanksgiving, and then a few of us met yesterday on a call, and then I talked today again with Brett Holly. And there was two concerns in general. The budget, we kind of flew through the budget, and there's an $80,000 difference that was very concerning to the trustees. And the town board feels strongly that we don't want to have the library have any shortfall, reduce services, or make any cuts whatsoever. So we all agreed that we would cover any shortfall up to that $80,000 difference. But talking to Brett, the real challenge to him, and I learned a lot of history from Brett, actually, I think it was last Saturday, that's just making sure that we talk about the future of the library and include that in discussions with the new rec and the future of the town itself. And I think, I can speak for the town board. We all think highly of the library. We think they do great things, and we need to have that discussion sooner or later. And Brett and I agree, and I think the town board agrees, that we should start having that very soon in the year so we can see what the future looks like and how we can make that happen. So just want to get that out there. It doesn't mean people can't participate in the public participation, say whatever they want, but I want to get ahead of it and just say that. So we'll get into the public hearing. This evening we have actually two public hearings, and I'll ask the town clerk to call the first public hearing.
Okay, and before I do start those, as per our rules and procedures, a 5-minute limit will be in place on all public participation during public hearings as well as regular general public participation. That was put in our rules and procedures during our organizational meeting in January, and I know we've been lax with this for a while, but we really need to impose this so that everyone has a chance to speak that wants to speak. Okay, for our public hearing number 1, to consider a proposed multifamily development consisting of 2 apartment buildings with 44 units to be located at 47 Willow Pond Way in the Willow Pond Planning Development District. The legal notice was published in the Webster Herald on November 21st, 2024, posted on the town's website and town clerk bulletin board. 51 postcards were mailed.
Sorry. Okay. Carrie, our Director of Development Services, provide a brief overview.
Sure.
Please.
As we've discussed at previous meetings, including the past work session, this is an application for special use permit. This is outlined in the Plan Development District regulations contained in our zoning code. The applicants have already navigated a preliminary site plan approval that was actually subsequent to a sketch plan application to the planning board. Now with a preliminary preliminary site plan approval in place, they're here for the next step with the town board, and that's to contemplate the special use permit component that addresses changes in use. So the particular site in question was previously approved for a 150-unit skilled nursing facility. The applicant is back now looking at a change in plan, and they're here to make a brief presentation before the public hearing begins.
Okay. Thanks for coming.
Good evening. Thank you very much. I'm Chris Nadler from Mark IV Enterprises, here with Peter Vars, president of BME Associates, our design engineer. With us is also Chris DiMarzo, the owner of this project and president of Mark IV Enterprises, as well as Craig Jensen from CJS Architects, and David Cruse, our traffic engineer from Passero Associates. Tonight, we'd like to briefly give you a project history, go through our approval process and the work that's been done, as well as the materials we've submitted to the town, discuss briefly the consultant review, third-party review, and town staff review that's taken place. And then Peter will give a brief project overview, which will include a comparison of the proposed use and the currently approved use, as well as answer some of the questions the neighbors have raised about the buffer, the specific details of that buffer between our southern property neighbors and our proposed complex, and then obviously answer any questions from the board. As Carrie mentioned, we're here for a special use permit to approve a modification to the use. The project was approved in 2002 for a 150 assisted living unit project. That would have been 88,000 square feet. Would have been approximately 37 to 38 feet in height. And what we're proposing now is to change that use from 150 assisted living units to 88 market rate apartment units. As you know, the Willow Pond neighborhood was approved as a planned unit development in the 1970s. It was contemplated and approved to have multiple apartment complexes, office buildings, senior living facilities, townhouses, duplexes, and single-family residential homes. The contemplation and the approval was that these would all be combined, adjacent to each other, one planned unit. It's been successful to date, and we're proposing to continue that success by completing this last parcel with an 88-unit apartment complex. Now, earlier this year, we submitted an application to the town after meeting with town staff, and it was for this 88-unit apartment complex. We've been to 6 planning board meetings, including 3 public hearings, 2 town board meetings. We've met with the neighbors, both at a separate meeting and after planning board meetings to discuss specifics of the project. We've met with town staff, and then, as Carrie said, on November 14th, the planning board granted preliminary site plan approval for our proposed plan. They also issued a negative declaration of environmental impact under the State Environmental Quality Review Act, or SEQR. Peter can get into a little bit more detail on what we've submitted, but I want to make it clear we've submitted everything that's required and more. We've submitted detailed site plans that address utilities, grading, erosion control, landscape plan with extensive details that's been revised many times or several times to address comments and concerns that have been raised in the planning board process. We've also submitted a lighting plan. We submitted a SEQR, full environmental assessment form, and an engineer's report that addressed water supply, sanitary sewer, site access and parking, a comparison of the approved plan development unit plan versus what the 88-unit apartment plan, stormwater management, erosion and sediment control, lighting, and landscaping. We also submitted a full traffic impact report, elevations of all buildings, including their colors and materials, and a building height study. We've modified the plans in response to many comments received from town staff and the town's third-party consultants. Specifically, the PRC and town staff reviewed the plan at the outset and provided extensive written comments. BME provided responses to those comments and revised the plans. The town's third-party traffic engineer reviewed Mr. Cruse's traffic report and specifically stated, "We concur that the trip generation for the proposed 88-unit apartment complex is only slightly higher than the previously approved 150-bed assisted living facility. Furthermore, we do not see that this change in development type will have a significant impact to the transportation system in the area. We concur with the consideration given to the increased traffic due to proposed development along New York 250 north of New York 441. Chick-fil-A, although not approved yet, is another development that could have been included in the background traffic. But this development's traffic will not have a large enough impact to change proposed mitigation recommendations." Finally, they stated that although this development is expected to bring an increase in traffic volumes to Sanders Farm, Willow Pond Way, and other roadways as compared to the approved assisted living facility at this site, the increase is minor and should not impact traffic operations for the area transportation network. The New York State Department of Transportation's engineer also reviewed our traffic impact report and stated that they have no comments or concerns regarding the project. The project volumes are very low. It's a direct quote. We also received comments from the town's third-party landscape reviewer, the town's third-party architectural review, Monroe County Planning Department site plan review, and Monroe County Planning Department special use permit. So this project has gone through multiple levels of review, and the planning board last month, after all those review, after the responses and the revisions that accommodated those reviews, approved the project with a preliminary site plan review and a negative declaration under seeker. Now I'll turn it over to Mr. Vars to give a project overview.
Thank you, Chris. My name is Peter Vars with BME Associates. Carrie, could we just bring up, let's start with the aerial photo, the overall, please. Thank you. So as Chris stated in his opening remarks, the planned site is located at the north end along Route 441 of the Willow Pond Planned Development District. And just to give you a little bit more background, 47 Willow Pond Way is a 4.5-acre parcel, and it does represent the last parcel within the Willow Pond Planned Development District. But actually, that parcel was part of a 7-acre parcel, which included 43 and 45 Willow Pond Way. So in 2002, the town of Penfield approved a development of that total 7 acres, which was the 2 office buildings at 43 and 45, and then the 150-unit multiple residential facility to be constructed at 47 Willow Pond Way. As we know, the 2 medical office buildings proceeded to be constructed, and actually the property at 47 Willow Pond Way was prepped for construction. It was cleared and such that there is no mature vegetation on the property. It has gone fallow since then. But as we mentioned, that parcel at 45 Willow Pond Way was approved for a 150-unit multiple residential facility. What we're here for this evening is to modify that to the proposed 88-unit apartment buildings. But what's important to understand is this is not a change in use. The parcel was approved for multiple residential units, and then we are still proposing multiple residential units. It's just in a different format. As we mentioned, the property was prepped in 2003 for development, so there is no mature vegetation. The parcel is not identified as an open space resource with any town adopted plan or study. Property occupies about 475 feet of frontage along New York State Route 441, and it occupies about 160 feet of frontage along Willow Pond Way. The site plan that's been prepared for this proposal conforms to all of the lot standards that have been established within the planned development district for Willow Pond. The plan, though, as proposed, does reflect certain improvements over the current approved 150-unit plan. And that includes, obviously, the reduction in the number of units from 150 beds to 88 units, a slight reduction in lot coverage. It does reduce building lot coverage by over 20%. The current approved plan has about just over an acre of building lot coverage. This current proposed plan has about 3/4 of an acre of building lot coverage. So we are, and that reflects that we are able to see an increase in open space, green space on this proposal versus the currently approved plan. And because of that also, we were able to increase the setbacks. Most importantly, to the west property line, the current approved plan has a setback of around 48 feet. This proposal sets the building back 90 feet. And then also to the south property line, it increased the setback from 50 feet to 57 feet. But also, more importantly, we were able to provide and increase a buffer.
Sorry, I'm just waiting for you to naturally come up for air. I do have a question.
Okay.
But I just didn't want to interrupt, so I'm just trying to get your attention.
I saw you looking at me. So.
Yes, sorry.
Sure.
Going back like 50 sentences.
Okay.
So, Mr. Vars, you had said it's not a change in use.
Correct.
But could you please clarify, because I think you are before the town board for an approval of a change for the special use permit. Is that correct, Carrie? I'm looking at you for confirmation.
So because the occupancy of the building is still multi-residential, but it's a different type of multi-residential, that's why the revised special or new special use permit is needed.
So it is still a change in use, right?
It's a change in use. The type of occupancy
Okay.
is still multi-residential, but a different type of multi-residential.
Okay, so that might be what you meant by a different format, but I just
Right.
want to be clear, like technically speaking, it is a change.
You're correct.
Okay, I just want to
When
make
we
that
were
clear.
talking, when I was mentioning that that change in use, it's in the broad definition of the town code, and the fact that if you look at the definition of multiple residential as defined in the town code, it includes both what is the current approved plan and apartments. So in that broad definition
Okay.
of multiple residential, both of these projects comply with that definition. But as Carrie pointed out, the PD ordinance says any change in type of occupancy, the type, because there is differences in multiple residential uses, whether it's townhomes, apartments, things like that. That's what brings us here.
Right, okay.
Okay.
Got to keep things simple for me, though.
Sure.
So,
Yeah, no, that's
because
fine.
there's a lot of history, and you're right that a portion of the project was approved previously in 2022, and so I do appreciate at least the continuity of the build and the project and how you're trying to really develop this last parcel of that broader development, but I do, at least for our discussion purposes and decision purposes of where we are today, it is a change, at least from what was previously presented in 2022. So I just
2002.
2002.
2002,
Yeah.
okay,
forgive-
right, and a lot has obviously
Yeah,
changed
we don't
since
dispute
then in
that.
terms of like the footprint of your area as well as 441 in that corridor. Okay, all
Correct.
right, thank you. I'm tracking now.
Okay, good. And with that break, could we bring up the site plan rendering? Thank you. As we mentioned, what this revised plan does, it does increase the buffering and the setback to the west and the south, and most importantly, it allowed us to establish a 30-foot landscape buffer along the south property line, which I'll get into a little bit more specifics in a few moments. This plan actually results in a more compact design that is clustered into the center of the property. From site planning standpoints, the primary access to the property will be off Willow Pond Way as has always been planned. It will be a private road, but through work with the planning board and the fire marshal, a secondary connection is being provided up at the northeast corner of the property where we will be connecting to 43 Willow Pond Way. So it does provide a second means of egress into this property, which was of importance to the fire chief and fire marshal. There will also be an extensive pedestrian network through the project. There will be sidewalks throughout the property to provide pedestrian access for the residents. Sidewalks will be constructed along the proposed private road out to Willow Pond Way, and the applicant will also construct sidewalks along their entire 160-foot frontage of Willow Pond Way and will connect to the existing sidewalk at 43 Willow Pond Way. So basically, we're going to be extending that existing sidewalk on the north side of Willow Pond Way along the property frontage. Parking is being provided on the site at the code requirements of 2 spaces per unit. It is being provided through a mix of surface spaces, covered or garage spaces, and we also worked with the planning board to land bank 25% of those spaces such that we didn't increase impervious cover at this time until demand required those spaces. There will be the required 6 ADA spaces provided, and there will be parking 4 EV charging stations provided within the site plan. As we mentioned, though, one of the biggest advantages to this plan is the increase in green space. The PD ordinance requires a 10% green space requirement. The plan before you proposes 37%. Which represents about 1.7 acres of the 4.5 acres. As we mentioned, this allows for the larger perimeter buffers to the north, the west, and the south. As it relates to working with these buffers during the site plan review process with the planning board, we worked with the town's landscape consultant. They provided feedback to us as to the condition of the existing vegetation in the area, and what he suggested would be the appropriate buffer along there. If his correspondence dated November 1st, 2024 to the town planning board recommended that along that south property line, and we did walk it with him, was that a lot of the vegetation that's on the applicant's property, and it was his word, is scrubby and should be removed because it doesn't really provide an effective buffer, but that a solid buffer be provided and new landscaping installed. So we prepared a landscaping plan that was submitted to the planning board and subsequently approved with the preliminary site plan. It proposes 2 components of buffering. Actually, I'm going to say 3 components. Because of what we did with the revision in the site plan, we're able to save the mature, healthy trees that are along the property line, and those have all been identified on the site plans that were reviewed and approved by the planning board. Of specific concern to the town's landscape consultant was the Norway spruces that were in the southwest corner, we modified our grading and design so that those would be safe because they're providing a buffer today. The proposed buffer would then also include 180 lineal feet of 6-foot-high fence that would be constructed along the south property line, and then I'm going to call it the angular line that starts heading towards Willow Pond Way, and that would then be supplemented with new plantings of evergreens, white pines and spruces at the recommendation of the town's landscape consultant. And he recommended that these trees be planted at initial planting of a size of 6 to 7 feet. The applicant has agreed to do that and has noted that on the landscaping plan of planting those, the more mature trees, I guess.
And Mr. Vars, is what we're looking at the revised landscaping proposal?
Yes, it is.
And was this, when you said the planning board reviewed and approved the revised submission, is that after September?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, the planning board granted their approval November 14th.
Okay.
So when we received the landscape consultant's letter, we responded back on November 1st also with the updates and revisions. Okay? So with that, and as Mr. Nadler stated, we have gone through a comprehensive site plan review process with the town planning board, which included reviews by the Town of Penfield's project review committee. So that was all of the technical staff, public works, highway, sewer, fire marshal, code enforcement, whatnot, traffic consultant, architectural consultant and the town's landscape consultant, which we've spent some time this evening discussing. As Carrie had mentioned, we've gone through the sketch plan and preliminary site plan review process so that we were getting that input from the planning board so that this plan reflects what they felt was appropriate, and subsequently they issued their preliminary site plan approval indicating the plan's compliance with the subdivision standards of the town of Penfield and site plan standards, which is required under the PD ordinance. So with that, as Mr. Nadler stated, they did issue their seeker negative declaration also, which indicated that the planning board, as the lead agency as it relates to site plan review, found that the project would not have the potential for a significant impact on the environment as a result of the design being proposed. So with that, we can answer any additional questions.
One thing I want to clarify about the seeker, though, is that that's true that the planning board did consider seeker with respect to the site plan review. It was an uncoordinated review, so this board is also lead agency for the matter that's presently before this board. So you would also need to make a seeker determination as it relates to your review.
Thank you, Pete. I was going to ask, because just to refresh our memories, when this came back, when this came first before the town board in August for some of the concerns and going through the seeker review, and we decided at that time to do an uncoordinated review. And then we did receive the petitions from several residents in that proximity August. And then the public hearing where many residents came to speak was September 4th, which is why I asked if what we're looking at is after the September 4th hearing. So I'm just trying to gauge whether a lot of that resident feedback was incorporated into this design. And then now it's really going to be the test of truth when we hear the public participation now or public hearing to see if a lot of that a lot of the resident concerns were assuaged with the revisions. And so I think we kind of want to hear the feedback there. So Carrie, unless you have anything, Jeff, I think we should now see if anybody signed up and kind of take the temperature of the revisions.
Absolutely. Amy, I'll start with you, and then I got some emails that I can read.
So I have quite a few, but I don't know if they didn't say which public hearing. So I will say that I did receive an email from Wendy Roche. We are putting it in the project file. The main thing is that she questions the need for another 80 plus apartments in Penfield when several hundred are being built just a few miles away on 250 in Atlantic. Our town needs affordable homes. Residents can build equity, not a... I'm sorry. Sorry, everyone.
I think Wendy is here.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you, ma'am.
I didn't know we had a set to speak, so versus reading my email, can I speak?
Oh, so Wendy, yeah, I was just going to read that last part because I didn't think you were going to be here. But, no, the papers are all.
Yeah, it's-
but at any rate,
you're good, Wendy.
then we'll have Wendy come on up.
And if anybody didn't sign up, they can still speak, just so you're good. Hi, Wendy.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Good, thank you. Sorry. Okay, so, hi, Candace, nice to meet you. Linda, nice to meet you, too. So I've been emailing with Candace and Linda a little bit, and I appreciate their attention to our concerns. So I live at 61 Willow Pond, so I back up directly to this project. Several of my neighbors who also back up to it are here. I will say the developers, they did address a number of our concerns. The immediate residents' concerns about the buffer, that did change significantly, about the lighting, which we had concerns about. There was concerns about drainage, which I think has been addressed. Currently, I do not have a sump pump in my basement. I never have water in my basement, and I'm hoping that never changes. So we shall see. I'm going on record letting you all know that. So, we do appreciate that they did, sit down and speak with us and, really took into consideration our feelings about, right now we're staring at 4 acres of woods, which has been lovely, but we also know that that always had the potential to be developed. I've lived there since 2006. The biggest concern right now, I think for us, yes, I do question the need for 80 more apartments when we've got almost 1,000 coming up in Penfield, a lot of them right down the road from us. We're talking about, there's traffic studies showing that there's not going to be an impact on 250, 441. That's great, and I think it was, I forgot who it was. I think, Kevin, you mentioned at the last meeting, everyone's doing all of these different proposals and projects that are saying there's not a traffic, impact, but when you look at them in a whole, there is going to be a traffic impact of that, and it's a very congested intersection. My primary concern would be, like I've said in my emails, is the number of traffic or the number of cars that are going to be coming down Sanders Farm to Willow Pond Way, cutting through the 15 houses that, mine included. We have significant traffic issues as it is, as far as cars that drive far too fast. I have been coming to the town since 2010, since my almost 16-year-old was 2. I have 2 other children. I have a 7-year-old and another 2-year-old. Several of my neighbors are here with small children as well. They have children. There's 15 kids that live between the corner of Sanders Farm and the entrance to this project. It's an S-shaped road. People cut down there to get to the Addison at Willow Pond. They cut down there to get to Crown Oak. They cut through to go to the office park there. They fly through there. The direction that the sun rises and sets also causes a problem with sun glare. We had a series of, unfortunate events where, a car speeding, leaving the Addison, wrapped itself around a tree, going over 50 miles an hour. 2 kids leaving, thought that would be a fun thing to do one night. We had a pedestrian struck trying to cross from Willow Pond over to Wegmans. And another resident who's here, her son was almost hit by a car getting off the school bus. It's a blind curve. And that incident is now a training video for bus drivers in Penfield. So we have had issues. The neighbors and I, at the bus stop, we have stopped cars physically with our bodies, standing in the road, telling people to slow down. We stopped an OBGYN who consistently kept turning down Sanders Farm every morning, flooring his car, and then would see us and would be like, okay, I'm going to stop. It's not that the numbers may be small on the traffic study. You're going to see that it's a minimal impact. It's a significant impact for us in that small stretch of road that has been dealing with this since 2010, probably before. I didn't notice it as much until I had kids who I, would love for them to be able to play in the front yard. God forbid, I want them to ride their bike. They have to ride in the gutter if we let them go in the street. That's kind of the biggest issue. I know that I've talked with a number of people about this, about the traffic issue, and that's our primary concern. I realize these apartments are probably going to happen. That's not, and I appreciate, like I said, the adjustments that have been made. The things that I want to make sure are clear is the buffer, which we already addressed, the landscaping situation. I have not seen those plans. I would like to see what that entails, since it probably removes a lot of trees from my backyard. And then the lighting situation as well. I don't want, parking lot lights in our backyards. So I'd like to make sure that that's pretty clear. And also the intent of who the tenant is going to be. I know previously they've talked about them being dinks, dual income, no kids. They're going to be very high-end apartments. I want to make sure that that intent also does not change.
Okay. Thank you.
That's it. Thanks.
Thank you.
And thank you, Wendy, for observing the 5-minute rule. Okay, so I don't know, Jennifer McCory, are you here for this?
No, I'm here for the library.
Okay, then that will be at later. Len Maluli, are you for the library? Okay. Jenny Veldhusen, is that library? No. Okay.
This is for Willow Pond?
It is.
Okay. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Good.
I'm Janie Veldhuisen. I live at 2028 Penfield Road. I was here when you guys had your planning board meeting discussing my reservations about this project. As you know, traffic on 441 is ridiculous already. Apparently, there's the perception that more cars will slow the traffic down. I would disagree with that strongly. It is very difficult for me already to pull out of my driveway. I live across from Sanders Farm Road, and my friend 2 doors down did his own traffic study. It was reported that there were 19 cars pulling out between 7 a.m. and 9 a.m. on a particular morning. He sat in his living room and did his own little traffic study, and there were 33 cars one morning and 36 cars on another morning between 7 and 9. So he was very specific about following their parameters. 19 cars compared to 36 is a pretty big difference. And as the young lady spoke before, I have a grandchild, and I will not let her play in my front yard. I have to be doing a burnout to get out of my driveway. And at 8 o'clock in the morning, I can't even get out of my driveway because everybody's going to work. I'm retired. I'm okay with that. But for the people in my neighborhood that are still working, 88 units, like was pointed out already, there's a huge complex going up in 250 and 441. Why do we need to build an 88-unit complex in this little spot? We don't have very much green space where I am in Penfield, so I really wish you guys would consider the residents that live there, because it seems that this project is going to happen, period. We're not going to be able to stop it. And that's a shame, because there is a Preserve Penfield movement out there. This isn't preserving Penfield. I feel like I live in Henrietta, actually, because it's so, the traffic is ridiculous. So thank you.
Thank you.
Susan Clee.
I assume Willow Pond, Susan? How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good.
I live at 2 Devonshire Circle in Willow Pond. I serve on the board of directors, excuse me, of the Devonshire Homes Association, which includes 2 homes, 234 townhomes on Devonshire Circle, Courtshire Lane, and Camberley Place. I've lived there for 38 years. I'm right on the corner of Devonshire and Willow Pond Way. I grew up in Penfield. I've lived there for 56 years. I went all through school in Penfield. I lived there and grew up before Willow Pond was even there, so I watched that all get built. My biggest thing, and I came to the planning board meeting, I'm a little disappointed that they kind of agreed with everything, because I agree with Wendy, the traffic situation in that neighborhood, I would guess, is the busiest traffic neighborhood in all of Penfield. And I know most of the neighborhoods because I still have friends living in certain neighborhoods there. The traffic is unbelievable coming down Willow Pond Way and then going over Willow Pond Way towards the proposed project. If they're putting in 88 apartments, there's no way that it's minimal, because between all the traffic in Willow Pond now, there's 2 apartment complexes, many single-family homes. I don't know the total of them. And then our association also goes into Concord Square and Windsor Square, and a lot of those neighbors use our roads to come out onto 441 because it's hard to get out onto 250. So you've already got all that traffic. The probably from 6:37 in the morning until at least 10 in the morning, the traffic coming down Willow Pond Way, everybody speeds. My backyard backs up to Crown Oak and Willow Pond where that intersection is. There's been multiple accidents. We hear tires screeching all the time. There's been a woman hit there. It's very dangerous. And when you're adding in 88 apartments, there's going to be at least, I would guess, 80 to 120 cars coming out that way. Most don't go out Sanders Farm because it's so hard to take a left onto Penfield Road. Most of the neighborhood comes and goes out Willow Pond where the traffic light is. It's just going to be a lot more traffic. It's going to be dangerous. I heard them speak of putting in sidewalks along there. And I don't mean to be disrespectful in any way about this, but 2 years ago, the town has decided not to plow our sidewalks in that neighborhood. For 35 years, they've been plowed, and now all of a sudden, they're not being plowed anymore. So now you've got all these people walking in the roads, which includes the kids going to the school buses at 7 a.m. in the morning from 7 to 8:30. There's many, many walkers, senior citizens, people walking dogs all day, right up until dark, every single day, even in the winter time. So now they're even in more danger for that. It's just, I feel like, and I don't mean any disrespect, but I feel like it's really selling out the residents that already live there for such a small area to put that many more apartments in there. It's not benefiting anybody in the neighborhood. It's benefiting the owners of the apartment complexes. And if they're going to charge, I understand that the going rate is going to be about $2,000 a month. I don't know that to be fact. But if it is, that's close to $2 million a year in rentals. And you're going to have people in and out. And for the people that live right in front of that along Willow Pond Way, I would assume their property values will go down because of the apartments behind them. And if they're going to put in sidewalks, then their front yards are being taken away for that easement as well. So I just don't think it's good for any of the residents that are already homeowners in that neighborhood. And I just don't think it's a good idea at all. It takes away our property values.
Mrs. Susan, if I can just respond to or comment on one thing you said about the sidewalk plowing. And so that issue did come before the board, and I think the town had issued letters to everyone in that area that was impacted.
We got no letters.
Okay, so, but we did at least try to communicate. So the town does have a policy where it does not plow, our Department of Public Works does not plow in private residential or privately held sidewalks. And that stretch where it was plowed was the only private road in the town of Penfield that was plowed in direct conflict with our policy. And so that change was to bring that area into compliance with the rest of the towns. But I definitely understand it was plowed for decades.
35 years.
Yeah, it shouldn't have been. And so that's why we did bring it into correction to fall into compliance with our liability, insurance, and all other town policies.
But they still plow from the Legacy, or the Addison was called, they still plow from there all the way to Wegmans. They have the last 2 years, because I back up to that and I see that.
Okay, so, but I at least did want to clarify. So Carrie, can we take that as a takeaway in our engineering department? If they can just reach out to her directly, please, and take that offline?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just made it more dangerous because now everybody's in the road.
Oh, I understand. Listen, if we could plow every private area, right, it would make it safer, but we just can't take that on.
And not to be argumentative at all.
No, not at all.
I really don't think there's many neighborhoods in Penfield that have sidewalks. All the ones I know of that are along Penfield Road, and maybe some of the newer ones past 250 do, I don't know. But I know all the ones from 250 down, none of them have sidewalks. We're one of the very few.
I'm happy to connect you with the DPW director and town engineer who can follow up on that conversation for you for sure.
Yes.
We can share more information with you.
That'd be wonderful, because I know we had a huge petition that came. A couple of our residents went around and got petitions. 'Cause there's a lot of, elderly folks that like to get out and walk. And
oh, yeah, I get it.
And the traffic that goes through from Willow Pond through our Devonshire, Courtshire, there's a lot of S curves. Those cars fly through. They fly, and it's just very dangerous year-round, especially.
I'm so sorry, it's way past 5 minutes.
Sorry.
Well, that was
you.
partly
I
my fault,
appreciate
too. Partly my fault with
I
asking a
appreciate
question.
your time, thank you.
Thank you.
Daniel Moore.
Can I do the public participation?
Certainly.
So nothing on Willow Pond, Daniel? Okay, got it.
Okay. Laura Payne-Borsey.
Hi.
Hi, Laura. Thank you very much.
My name is Laura Payne-Borsey, and I've lived at 8 Parham Drive for 24 years. I would like to direct my comments to both Willow Pond Way and development more broadly. At the 2020 census, the town was comprised of just over 15,000 residences, which lacks a paid police force, which relies on volunteer EMS and fire services, which admittedly has challenges with sewer capacity and that we're borrowing from Webster and Brighton, and the sewer at the YMCA complex goes into a significant holding tank. Related, a conservative analysis indicates that we have approved or built, have pending, or are considering 1,317 apartments in the town of Penfield since 2016, including the 88 units considered for Willow Pond. I listened to the meeting where you made decisions about how to spend the last of the American Rescue Plan funds this fall. I applaud the discussions. Hard decisions need to be made with public resources. But it was not lost on me that we passed on purchasing a $15,000 machine that our DPW asked for to grind up bathroom wipes, reducing the potential for clogs and DPW payroll to address them. I want to be as respectful as I can in saying this. We cannot afford to buy a $15,000 machine to grind Cottonelle. We cut our library, likely the most impactful service in this community outside DPW, in what I can only attribute as an error driven by the "we won't raise taxes in Penfield" logic. And we want to stick 3 stories of apartments in an already dense neighborhood, requiring a planned use change for assisted living issued decades ago because a developer tells us we need more market rate apartments when we've added 1,317 since 2016 in a town of 15,000 residences. I urge this town board to consider what will happen when our taxes have to be raised significantly because our infrastructure will not keep up. We will not keep up with the development that you are approving and perhaps even seeking. Specifically, I ask that you cost out a police force. You don't have anybody to patrol Willow Pond, do you? For folks listening, go to seethroughnewyork.net and look up the payrolls of towns in our region that have police forces. Arundecoit, Brighton, Greece, Fairport, Gates, or Webster. I ask that you assess the needs of fire and EMS and tell our taxpayers what those volunteer organizations need to sustain this pace of new residences. I'd like to understand what is anticipated in terms of sewer maintenance, including redundancies such as backup pumps, with or without the proposed developments over the short and the long term. I insist that you consider the impact both to the Penfield and the Webster schools, because if they require a capital project to meet the needs of these new students, this surely isn't a good deal for any taxpayer in either community. More importantly, you are negatively impacting the reason people buy homes here. It's negligent to stand on a motto of "we don't raise taxes when your actions will raise school taxes, which outpace our town taxes 3-to-1. Add in the dynamic of anticipated pilot agreements and school tax caps, students in both districts will suffer. Finally, I urge you to commission an independent traffic and vacancy study. I have now foiled full project folders for Willow Ponds and the Arbors. I'll gladly pay the hourly rate for those materials to be pulled together, and I thank our town clerk for her efforts. However, the fact that I have to foil them should be questioned. Many of us were not paying attention when the Arbors was approved, but we're paying attention now. I urge you to deny a special use permit at Willow Ponds. If leadership in this community does not begin to act in our best interests as residents and taxpayers, we will have no other choice than to seek a moratorium on development until the aforementioned issues are actually addressed. Thank you.
Thank you.
That is all I have.
Okay. So I have a couple things. Wish I had my glasses, but I'll get close. Let's see. So I'm gonna butcher these names, but there's a couple regarding Willow Pond. This is Linda CV at 159 Courtshire Lane. I've been following the planning board sessions regarding Willow Pond Way proposal. I want to make sure that my concerns are considered by the town board. Hold on a minute. I've lived in the neighborhood over 5 years. When I moved into the planned development area, I expected there'd be additional construction projects. I have grave misgivings about adding 88 rental units. Certainly the developers plan to make a lot of money and don't want to decrease the number of units. They've shown 3-story, and after complaints showed a 2-story option, but they haven't decreased the units, I think is what it says. Sorry, as I navigate this computer. And then I have Mary McDonough, 28, is it, never heard of the street, actually, Jacaranda Court? If I said that wrong, sorry.
You got it.
I'm opposed to the proposed 88 apartment dwelling at 47 Willow Pond. Additional traffic concerns packing 2 unsightly apartment buildings on a small 4.5 acre land. It's overkill. The original PD was approval for senior. First part of the development became legacy. Lastly, with bountiful existing available apartment dwellings in Penfield, plus additional hundreds being constructed on Route 250, there's literally no demand for 88. Willow Pond residents currently see issues of security, crime, and vandalism stemming from the Crown Oak and Willow Pond apartments. We strongly oppose any additional apartments. The claim that these will be at market price is invalid, as in New York, renters cannot be denied based on income. The proposed layout does not appear to have adequate space for emergency vehicles such as fire trucks to be able to easily access all positions on the property. We have zoning laws and codes set for a purpose. It is for naught if the town permits every developer to operate outside these codes. Thank you. And I have one comment on the next public hearing, but one last one is Eileen Anderson, Edenfield, I always say it wrong. Eileen Anderson against approval of the 47 Willow Pond Way development. Parcel is large enough to shelter the adjoining, parcel is large enough to shelter the adjoining resident yards from lights, noise, cars required for an 88 apartment complex. The height is greater than initially approved by the parcel, and although not significant from the 441, it is definitely going to change the character of Willow Pond and the road. Sorry. The single-family neighborhood, essentially. Okay, I don't think I have anybody else that called in. Okay.
Amy, can I ask that for the comments that are coming in online, when they're entered into the project file, can you please distribute them to the board so that we can read it? Read them in full. I know Jeff is really trying to summarize on the fly, but I'd like to
So I'll
read those.
piggyback on that. So Jeff, will you email me them?
Yeah.
Because I don't have any of them.
Okay, thank
No,
you.
I'm with you. Okay, is anybody else that haven't signed up want to talk about Willow Pond specifically? I'll go left to right. Go ahead. Everyone will get a chance. If you could share your name and address for our clerk's record, that'd be great.
My name is Laura Ottavino. I live at 10 Empress Court.
Laura, could you spell your last name, please?
Autovino.
And which street?
10 Empress Court in Willow Pond. I did write a letter to the town board and the planning board back in August addressing my concerns. And I did get a note back from the town stating that they got it. But I haven't heard anything about that in this meeting. Why is that?
Do you want to?
If you submitted the email during the planning board's, site plan review process, it would have been furnished to the planning board as during their deliberation on the application. I can ask the planning department to forward that to me so that I can share it with the town board.
Because I addressed it to both.
Yeah, and I think at the time, the application was only before the planning board, so it wouldn't have been provided to if the town board may have received it, we'll make sure it gets added to the record for today's public hearing.
We did receive it on August 3rd.
Yeah.
Thank you. So we can make sure the clerk has it for the public record.
Okay. A couple of things I'd like to mention. I've lived at Willow Pond for 45 years. The concern I have, not only with others about the traffic, on the site plan, I'd like to know where the exit to come out is, because when you come around the bend, the senior Addison development has a driveway. And last week I was coming around the bend, and the senior pulled right out in front of me. I almost hit them, because when you come around that bend, you cannot see. So I'm interested to know exactly where the driveway is going to be coming out of this development, okay? Because it's going to interfere when you come around that corner, you cannot see. I mean, it was like a couple of feet. I had to slam on the brakes. This evening, I was trying to come here, and I was trying to get out of Willow Pond by the light, and I was going to turn right. 3.5 minutes to get out, okay? When you're in line to get out at the traffic light, if you're 4 or 5 cars back, you will not get the light. You have to wait another maybe 2 minutes. So I could easily wait 4 minutes at that light to get out, either going right or left, okay? The other thing I want to say is, why is Sanders Farm not a one-way in? People should never be turning out at Sanders Farm left. Lots of accidents. My neighbor's son almost got killed there. And I'd like to know about, is there going to be a retention pond there?
I believe it's part of the plan. But
How many feet within going into the project is that?
I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
we don't have the measurement for
Yeah,
that.
we can share that, all the details.
Yeah. If there's a question that you have, if you want to follow up with the engineering department, we're happy to answer any specific questions you have.
Okay. And I think that's the only thing. And, and I was very involved in getting the stop signs at Sanders Farm and Willow Pond. I go through there every day. I stop. I can tell you the number of people that do not stop at that three-way stop. I was coming home last night. I had the stop sign, and somebody came right down Sanders Farm, never stopped, and cut me off. that happens daily. You have to be there, and I don't know if any of you live near the area that we live in, but it is very disconcerting that we have to put up with all this and our safety. Last week, there were 15 vehicles at Willow Pond, sheriffs, ambulances, fire trucks, and that goes on a lot. The safety in Willow Pond is very, very negative. So, and we don't have a police force that can handle that. That was evident last week when they had all the cars down by the apartments, or down by the senior center. We didn't know what was going on. So police force safety does not handle Willow Pond. There is a lot of activity. Go on the website and see about people getting different things happening. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, yes, ma'am. Hello.
My name is Lindsay Principe, and I live at 53 Willow Pond Way.
And Lindsay, can you spell your last name?
Yep, it's Principe.
And your address again?
53 Willow Pond Way.
Thank you.
So my house backs up directly to the proposed complex. It is in my backyard. As Wendy mentioned, my son was actually the kid that was almost hit by someone as he was leaving the school bus. His bus driver actually saved his life. He was cleared to cross, and someone flew right by, never stopped, never did anything, and luckily she was aware enough to stop him. It was somebody who was cutting through and went over to Sanders Farm Way. So big concern, obviously, of the traffic in that area. I am on the edge of the S-curve, so it is a blind curve at my house. We are the second house in away from the proposed development. As Wendy said, we constantly have kids. Our children are riding their bikes, their scooters, all through there. It is a constant battle of making sure they stay on the side because cars don't see them. There's sun glare, obviously, as Wendy mentioned as well. The one thing no one has really mentioned is with 44 apartments in each building, it's over 80 apartments, that could be 160 cars. They say it's minimal traffic, but 160 cars is a big deal. And if these people are going to work every day and coming home every day, that is when our kids are going to school and coming home. And people speed through there. We spent, one of our neighbors here, we spent an afternoon in the summer at the corner of Sanders Farm and Willow Pond and watched every car fly by that three-way stop. Nobody stops there. Our kids constantly have to be on the lookout. So that is obviously my biggest concern, is the concern of my children and the other children in the room. And the other thing I wanted to point out was, being that my backyard faces this, I know we've talked to the developers about ways to change the lights and have the buffers and things like that, but part of the reason I bought my house in Willow Pond, I didn't have a backyard neighbor. My bedroom faces that area. I can leave my windows open. I don't have to look at anybody looking in at me. I have a 1.5-story home, and with a 2-story apartment complex, I'm gonna be looking out into someone's bedroom, and that's just not what we wanted. So just wanted to state that today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I think there was somebody else that wanted to speak. Yes, sir. Do you come ahead, please? Regarding Willow Pond, I assume, yeah? How are you?
My name is Richard Gensimer. It's Gensheimer. I live at 67 Edenfield Way, but I am a co-owner and have grandchildren that live on at 59 Willow Pond Way. I agree with all that these people have said. I do thank the builders for their efforts and what they've done. I've sent multiple emails and talked to several people on the board about the fact that this is a 3-story building. Now, I was told zoning was 2 stories, and no one has ever answered the question, as why are they allowing a 3-story building. I realize they're doing it on Atlantic to 4 stories, but if the zoning and that whole planning thing was 2-story buildings, why did this just slide through, and how does that happen? And I hope somebody can answer my question. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, was there somebody else? Did you? Yeah, please. Hey.
It's Chris Tarantino, Tarantino, 26 Sanders Farm Drive. One question, how do you enforce only dinks living in that apartment complex? What happens if they have a child? Then what? Isn't that discrimination? Only dinks can live there?
I don't know what that means, honestly. Oh, thank you.
Come on.
What can I tell you?
They said it. How do you enforce that?
I don't.
No. It's what? No answer. I mean, I'm just curious. How do you enforce only double income, no children in that complex? What happens if after a year, half of them are still empty? Then do you allow families to come in? My question, and no answer.
Well, I think you're supposed to direct your comments to the board, but I don't think.
I talked to him. I think you
directly can enforce that, so really what the developer was saying, that they would market it to, so.
Yeah, thank you. Anybody else regarding Willow Pond that's out there? Anybody that we're missing, Amy?
Not that I have. Nope.
Okay, well, we'll close that part of the public hearing. Any other comments from the board before I close it?
So I have
Go
a
ahead.
couple questions for our town attorney and Carrie. So for the applicant here, as well as folks who've made several comments, can we just talk about timeline so that folks know as the holidays are approaching? I don't want people to be glued to their screens thinking that there's going to be some decision that's going to be swept in December 24th, right? So that everybody can just understand the process, expectations, timeline, and have transparency in that regard. Can we have just general comments,
Absolutely.
please, on what to expect?
So following standard process, after a public hearing, conversation about the application will continue at the next scheduled work session. That's scheduled for December 18th, Wednesday. Those meetings are open to the public. There is no public participation, but people are welcome to watch us on TV or join us here in the room. And then we'll continue the conversation around the application, discuss the public hearing comments made, and walk through the application process from there with the guidance of the town attorney. And the applicant is typically present at those meetings to address any questions the town board has and follow-up items that might need to be addressed.
And to be clear, so no official action is occurring on December 18th?
No, at that point, the town board would be making its just recommendations on what to do next with the application.
And if there are further comments, either by residents in the interim or by the town board, that can occur over another...
I would say between now and the Friday before that meeting, because that's typically when information is provided to the board.
But also following that work session, it can carry over to another work session.
As needed, as any application. Right. So I think it's up to this board's discretion in terms of conversation, discussion, additional information that would be determined at the next work session meeting.
Even though the public hearing is closed, typically the planning board and the town board would continue to receive public feedback that would go into the file and would be considered by the board up until the decision is made whether to approve or deny a particular application.
And for people interested, if they go to the property under review, they can sign up to get emails anytime that is updated.
Yes.
This project has any updates, whether it's included in an agenda, whether it's a planning board or the town board. If they sign up, will they get an email anytime something's added to
Yeah,
agenda
so
or
as those
document?
pages are updated, and typically if we know that an application is going to be on an agenda, we'll post a little update to say when the next time it's being discussed. So this particular project under review would be updated to say the application will continue its review at the work session scheduled for December 18th.
And would that generate an email if somebody
My
signed up?
understanding, I don't want to speak on behalf of PCTV because they're listening from downstairs and can tell me, but no, I'm 99% sure that any updates to a project page that you're following will generate an auto email to let you know there's been an update.
I just know how, everybody's busy and to try and constantly check a page.
Yes, yeah.
But I'll check with TCTV.
Yeah, and I'm happy to get an answer to that confirmation and then send that to the town board to let you know. But I'm 99% sure that's the benefit of following a particular project on the page, because you'll get notifications when something's changed or been added.
Just one thing I want to add, you can always reach out to us at supervisor@penfield.org. Anything related to Willow Pond, we would share with the town board. And then just a comment on traffic, and this does not downplay what's going on in Willow Pond. This is a town-wide issue. I don't care where you live, and actually it's a county and probably state, I don't know if it's a country, but supervisors get together on a monthly basis. This is a topic in every town. And we get a lot of communication on, I could name a dozen roads where it comes up. I recently was at a crosswalk where a woman was trying to, and no one let her go by. I think 10 cars went by. This was on the end of Creek towards Empire. It's a huge issue. We meet with the Sheriff's Department to discuss this. It's the same in every town. And we're going to, I don't know how to solve it. We're going to try some things, but, and it doesn't downplay what's going on in Willow Pond, but this is town-wide. So I just wanted to share that. Anything else regarding?
I do
Yeah,
have
go
some
ahead.
comments directed at Ms. Nadler as counsel for your client. So you did hear additional feedback. I understand that there were conversations to address, and we did hear acknowledgement of those. But if you're seeking comfort, at least from the board, for an approval, your client might want to consider expounding on some of that feedback or doing additional outreach and submitting any other updates on that before our 18th work session. To say, I don't think it was as buttoned up as it was presented, right, with the other, at the last work session is my point.
Okay, anything else? So we'll close that public hearing and. Yeah, quick one, go ahead.
You have to come up.
You
got to come up. to
Yeah,
the
why don't you
microphone.
come up here and, yeah,
Just one comment.
you're good.
I agree with what you said about all the traffic and all the towns.
Yeah,
But this is inside of a neighborhood.
I understand.
So, and like I said before, I think Willow Pond is probably the most trafficked neighborhood in all of Penfield.
It's a dense area, I don't disagree.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, Carrie, you want to do an overview of the next public hearing?
I'm going to
to
let
announce
our
it. Do
town
we
clerk
wanna-
lead off that.
Sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
Do we want to pause in case folks want to clear out?
Yeah, everyone's welcome to hang out or leave. Yeah, thanks, Candace.
Thank you, drive safely.
We'll give you a minute.
Thank you all very much.
Yeah,
Have a good night,
thanks.
thank you.
I'll take the opportunity to just
Yeah,
stand up.
if anybody wants to go to the bathroom. For
Thanks.
our next super long public hearing. Or not public hearing, I'm sorry, public participation.
You can email me at supervisor@penfield.org. You can also call our office.
Because I have sent several emails to that effect. I mean, I don't, maybe I've sent.
So whether or not that particular question is subject to some, part of the review process, there's an ability to waive some of those requirements. So that's part of the consideration that both the boards are.
And I'm the liaison to the town board, so if you want to reach out to me.
Thank you very
certainly
much, I
can.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
I always want to go one, two.
All right.
Okay, let's
Alrighty.
tee up the next one.
Yeah, Amy, you ready to?
Okay, public hearing number 2, to consider a proposed local law to amend Town Code, Chapter 250, to establish renewable energy systems regulations. The legal notice was published in the Webster Herald on November 20th, 2024, posted on the town's website and town clerk bulletin board. No postcards were mailed due to this being a townwide action.
Okay, Carrie, you want to give us an overview?
I'll give you a brief overview. We've been chatting about these proposed regulations for a number of months. As the town board and the public may be aware, these proposed regulations initiated through the EECC. They spent considerable time reviewing the draft regulations and making recommendations for changes. Once that process had concluded, the draft regulations were provided to the town board in the draft local law form. The draft local law has been posted. I'm going to say that we also prepared through the EECC, staff prepared an overview of a presentation to sort of give examples of what we mean by renewable energy systems, so you understand what the different levels in each of the categories are. Right now, our code is silent on renewable energy systems, and so several months back, you'll recall, we adopted a local law to impose a moratorium on certain alternative energy installations so that these regulations could be visited, identified, and then the town board could make the decisions to codify those regulations. And so this presentation that I'm sort of like scrolling through for the benefit of folks watching at home or here in the audience is available on the website on the projects of community interest page, so you can get a sense of what we mean by the various renewable energy sources. So these regulations would create a new article in Chapter 250 that would address the how, where, and permitting requirements associated with the various types of renewable energy systems. And then also the local law identifies additional terms defined that would be added to Chapter 250 2.2. That's our definition section of the code. And then it's also going to include additions for adding references so that every zoning district where these are allowed has some reference back to this article so people know where to go to find information about renewable energy. And so with that, I would just say, unless the board has questions, we could go right into the public hearing comments.
Yeah, I'll just say I had a quick one, and maybe you said it. The only question I had on here was the timeline of that. Do we have a timeline? Or did you?
Yeah, so for in terms of the timeline to date, yeah, so this has been...
To amend the local law.
Yeah, so I think that the draft local law has been prepared. If there have been some, through the EECC process, revisions were identified, those have been now addressed, and they're represented in the draft local law. We did receive one written comment from a resident, and so my thought or expectation is, depending on additional comments received this evening, that again we would discuss this at the next work session meeting.
Okay. Yeah, there were some good questions in the email. Thank you.
Yeah, so the thought would be that we would discuss it at the next work session and then advance the local law process from there.
Okay.
Okay, I just want to knock that off. Amy, do we have people signed up to participate?
We do, and I think, were you talking about Aaron Roy?
Yes, that was a written communication.
Yeah, so that is in the project file.
Perfect, thank you.
I have an Alan Hibner.
How you doing, Alan?
Good evening.
Hi.
I'm looking for the 5-minute countdown clock.
Starts now.
Good evening. My name's Al Hibner, and I live at 85 Highledge Drive in Penfield. I'm co-founder of the Color Penfield Green, and I lead a committee within that group, that volunteer group of Penfield residents, that focuses on electrification and decarbonization initiatives in our local community and around the Finger Lakes region. Thank you for the opportunity to comment on this very important renewable energy systems regulation for the town of Penfield. And I'll take just a moment to shout out Sarah Waterman, our town sustainability engineer. She has tirelessly worked collaborating with Color Penfield Green, with our group on 2 NYSERDA-sponsored community campaigns that we've been running since the fall of 2021. Campaigns that promote the adoption of EVs and heat pumps, sounds relevant to what we're talking about here tonight, by the Penfield residents. These are the very regulations that are up here to discuss for a local law. And one quick little commercial, we collaborated with Sarah and the town to put a full-page ad in the Penfield Recreation brochure for winter, spring 2025. And the reason I mention that is if Penfield residents have installed heat pumps or purchased battery electric vehicles since October of 2021, if they report that to Sarah, we get money. Money for the town, upwards of $10,000 to actually $30,000 in grant money from NYSERDA for the town of Penfield for sustainability projects. So folks, go to the catalog and scan the QR code and report your purchase in the last 3 years to Sarah Waterman. So it's become very clear to me in 2024 that this is going to be the first entire year that the world officially averages 1.5 degrees Celsius increase in our temperatures. That's 2.7 degrees Fahrenheit over pre-industrial times. Now, we're hitting this unwelcome milestone much sooner than we ever thought we would. A 1.5 degrees Celsius increase does not sound like much, but the vast majority of climate scientists agree that this is the maximum safe temperature increase that Earth can sustain going forward. We're seeing ever more intense storms, floods, droughts, heat waves, fires, you know the drill on the news, local news, that cost tens to hundreds of billions of dollars to all the residents in the United States. Think of recent events like Hurricane Helene's flooding in North Carolina and the drought-fueled fires along the border in New Jersey and New York just recently. To stay as close to 1.5 degrees Celsius of total warming as possible, New York State has committed to a 40% emissions reductions goal by 2030. The only way to meet that critically important goal is for towns like Penfield to make changes to our local laws, like the renewable energy systems regulations being discussed here tonight. By laying out the rules for homeowners, installers, developers, and contractors to work in Penfield, we are streamlining the process and helping to build out solar, wind, geothermal, EV chargers, and battery storage much faster. And speed is important. Time is so important. Time to slow or stop global warming is receding rapidly. Time is not on our side. What's being discussed here tonight are the actions that keep us moving toward our emissions reduction targets. Importantly, it's also part of the vision of the town's own updated comprehensive plan. I'd like to take a short quote from the Sustainability Policy Statement, page 38. It's the policy of the town to be a community that conserves energy resources and engages in sustainable practices. Penfield will continue to implement policies and system upgrades that lower the town's energy consumption and promote responsible environmental stewardship. The town will continue to be a leader in sustainability both at a municipal level as well as encouraging its residents to follow suit, which we are doing. Specifically, the town commits to pursuing new sustainable technologies and methods and pursuing policy changes and programs that advance sustainability. Yale climate communication polls show that a majority of community members here in Monroe and Wayne counties want their government to do more to address climate change. This amended town code signals to Penfield residents, especially the young who will be living with the consequences of these choices for so much longer, that the clean energy transition is a priority for our leaders. For Color Penfield Green, building renewables and adopting clean energy technologies like heat pumps and EVs much faster to reduce our carbon footprint, this is a win in and of itself. Importantly, there are also tremendous co-benefits to this green transition that we are right in the middle of. Just for example, improved health with cleaner air and water, both outside and in our homes, energy independence. And front of mind to so many people, the potential to save money by avoiding the burning of natural gas and by capturing solar, geothermal, and wind power to reduce utility bills for our residents. Therefore, the membership of Color Penfield Green asks you to approve the Renewable Energy Systems Regulations local law. And on a side note, I personally can't wait until the ground solar mount regulations are written, because with 100% renewable energy and 100% electric house, the only thing I've left to do is to install solar panels. So I'm looking, and I can't install them on my roof. I have too many trees. I'm looking for the ground mount rules and regulations so I can start searching out my solar panels. Thank you for your time.
The draft regulations are on the website. You can help yourself to see what those regulations are.
Right. Well, pass them.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Al.
Alan, would you like to give me your statement for the file, Alan? Would you like to give me your statement for the file? Thank you. Donna Spinella.
How you doing, Donna?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Oops. My name's Donna Spinella. I live at 39 Scarborough Park. I am here in strong support of the Renewable Energy Systems Policy Regulations. First, I would like to thank members of the Energy, Environment, and Conservation Committees, members of Color Penfield Green, Sarah Waterman, all the people who worked very, very hard to bring this to life. I know it was not easy in a lot of different ways. Secondly, I'm here not just as a resident, but as a member of the 2023 Comprehensive Plan Committee. It was at times challenging to get climate change adequately acknowledged within the plan, particularly strategies to reduce or eliminate climate impacts, not just to mitigate them. But we worked at it, and we got a lot of good stuff in there. So I am incredibly pleased to see this proposed renewable energy policy, regulation rather, that includes such a wide array of all sorts of sustainable energy technologies, all of which can work both in and for Penfield. The benefits to the health of our residents and the health of our planet are pretty obvious, but this policy also benefits the economic health of our town, because it offers our farmers, many of whom, as we all know, are nearing retirement age, a new, less intensive source of income so that we can keep that land open, albeit producing energy rather than crops. To me, this policy is an all-around win for absolutely every part of the Penfield community. And I, again, thank all the groups and all the people who helped put it together.
Thank you.
Thanks, Donna.
That's all I have.
Okay, anybody else want to speak on that topic?
I'd like to put on record the email that the town board received from resident Aaron Roy. He did ask that if time permits to read all of the proposals, but it is a very lengthy email, so in the interest of time, I'm just going to summarize. He did, he's a resident of Penfield and would like some modifications made. I would defer to council, as some of these are very fact-specific and dependent on the New York State interpretation of the Tier 3, the various tiers for solar use. That was just my quick read. But he did have proposed modifications regarding the setback, screening of Tier 3 solar projects, his concern of displacement of natural resources, displacement of agricultural activities, particularly with farmed parcels, would like to see more discouraging of clear cutting of woodland, discouraging a massive scale of corporate solar projects, lighting and glare as resulting of solar projects, and would like clarity in the definition of principal use and Tier 3 solar projects. And so there was, again, some of the technical details we'd have to bring that back to a work session to kind of dive into those details with you, as well as the New York State guidance on that. Carrie, I know you mentioned general compliance. So I think it was the board's intent, if there was no other feedback or objection. We heard all the approvals tonight, but if there were no objections, to adopt the local law tonight. But seeing that we did receive, again, some very technical questions, I think it does warrant for this to be brought at the next work session. And if we can just get clearance from Pete and Carrie on those to see if any material modifications need to be made that require a second hearing, or if there can just be clarifications or maybe citations or grounding in the New York State model language, then we can proceed at least with the local amendment or local adoption of the law.
Yeah, and I'll also be looping back in with staff from planning and engineering. We'll review the questions and comments received and provide some feedback to the town board in time for the work session, the next work session.
Okay. So does that make sense? Still clearly wanting to adopt, but do need to pause for other questions and clarifications on that.
Yeah,
So,
the email had some very good feedback, especially as it relates to the large solar facilities. And I think, I don't know, certainly staff review, and I wonder, should EECC review that email and see if, I don't know. But certainly, I think it's worth pausing and making sure we address those issues.
yeah, these were very technical versus like a just general discontent with renewable energy. They're very, very technical. So if the board's in agreement, I'd like to close the public hearing and then ask that it be brought to the 12/18 work session. Okay.
Absolutely. Okay. Anything else regarding that public hearing? Okay.
No, I just closed it.
Oh, I'm still learning, even my last month of the first year here. Anyway, okay, we'll move right on. Thanks, Candace. We'll move right on to public participation. Clerk Steckloff, I think we have some people signed up. Or if anyone would like to scoot out now, bye, Carrie. Well, we'll give you a minute to get out of here and then leave it to the rest of you. Have a good night.
Thank you. Thanks.
Okay, so I do have 3 who have signed up, and then I also have a public participation email that I'll read into the record. But first, the people who signed up. The first one is Jennifer McCory.
Hi, Jennifer.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you doing?
Good, thanks. My name is Jennifer McCory. I am a member of the Board of Trustees of the Penfield Public Library, and I am here tonight to express my concerns of the budget cuts in the 2025 budget. While I do appreciate the statement you made at the beginning and your acknowledgement of support of the library, I do want to let you know that we need more than a vague statement. We need confirmation that the $80,000 is coming. We need it, that is coming from the town fund and not from the library fund. We need it as soon as possible so that so that we can get just to the 2024 operating budget. We are still going to be well below being able to offer the residents of our town any upgrades to the services that we currently have. We will be at what the 2024 operating budget. But we need to be able to plan for the year. So we need to know as soon as possible that this funding is coming so that we can make those plans for what's coming. I just want to say a couple of numbers here that are pretty important. One thing that really sticks out to me is that since the year 2020, the Penfield Public Library has been over 9% of the total budget for the town of Penfield until this year, in the 2025 budget, which we did not know about in advance, but we are finding that we are at 7.64%. So we don't understand why we were cut so much, considering we are such a vital part of the community. A couple of other things that I think are very important numbers to express are that, and these numbers are from the year 2023, because we're not fully done with 2024, so we don't have those statistics just yet. But in 2023, 389,107 items were circulated, and 174,470 people came into the library. That is a significant number, letting us know that the library is a very important part of our community. And if we have to operate at the 2024 budget for the rest of the remainder for 2025, and then continue to experience cuts in the future, or have to worry about experiencing more cuts in the future, that is going to make a significant impact for the residents. I am an avid library user, so I understand the services that are provided. We are right now in the middle of a survey to residents, and we've already received 1,100 responses, and we're not even done yet. And so that just tells us how important the library is in this community. And if we continue to see it as and if the residents see that it's being cut by the town, it is going to show them that it's not as important to the town as it is as we claim it to be. So I'm asking that we the board gets in writing a confirmation that $80,000 is going to, as soon as possible, before the end of the year, that the $80,000 is coming from the town fund, so that the library fund can be used to make up for some of the losses that we are getting, so that we can continue to provide excellent services. If our patrons, our Penfield residents, do not have the services, the materials available to them, they're going to have to go outside of our town to get them from other libraries. I don't think that's fair for the residents who are taxpayers and supporting our town.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jen.
Lynn Malooly.
Hey, Lynn.
Hi, I'm Lynn Malooly, lifelong library user and 31-year resident of Penfield and 31-year patron of the library. I think the library is probably the best thing we have going in this town. I was on the library board for 9 years. I've been on the foundation board for 5 years. I'm really shocked that I'm even here tonight and that this even happened. I appreciate your statement, Jeff, but like Jennifer said, we would really like to see this in writing, where this is coming from. These numbers that the library funding is going down as a portion makes no sense to me. And I'll just have to say, I played pickleball for the first time. I'm not here, but I'm very excited. But if we're putting in pickleball courts and you're cutting the library, I don't get it. The people use the library across this community, and the Willow. I didn't come here for Willow Pond, but I sat through all of that. I have to say, the flat tax rate claim for years and years and years means nothing to me, and it's getting really tired. Could you tell me what you're providing to us, not this flat tax rate? And if you're cutting services to, funding to the library to keep a flat tax rate, I vehemently oppose that. So the library is, as some have called it, the living room of our community. It is. It is so fantastic. Libraries are growing, they're changing, they're serving people all the time. Like Jennifer said, we need to see confirmation of where these funds are coming from. And I'm just so disappointed that I had to come here tonight and that we have to fight for the library. And there's an army of people ready to fight too. So I hope you guys will do the right thing and restore the funding and keep it growing so the library can be the shining jewel that we know it has been. But it can't stay if the funding isn't there. So
I'm with you. And I'll make a quick comment whenever everyone's done to kind of address that. So, yeah.
Daniel Moore.
Hi, Daniel.
Thanks, Dave.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, Daniel.
Thank you.
Daniel Moore, 75 Cobbles Drive. And I am here to talk about something completely different. So I'm very excited, first off, that at the beginning of the meeting to hear that high school students are now able to serve on boards. I was, I think, the first one in March of 2020. And so I'm very excited to hear that.
Tell your friends.
Long in college now, but Penfield, the town of planned progress, or at least it should be, is a wonderful town to live in. With great schools and an abundance of parks, it's no wonder why so many choose or tried to choose to live in Penfield. When I was 3, my family moved here, and we've been here ever since. In my senior year of high school in 2019 and 2020, I began working for this town, and I, like many others, care so deeply about it. It's been 4 years since I've graduated high school, and as I wrap up college, in a few semesters, I'm starting to see where I want to live. With, in my opinion, the exciting, walkable, mixed-use part of the town being developed, I thought maybe that would be a great place to move to. That is, however, when I looked up the house and rent prices. In June of 2020, when I graduated high school, the median rent in Penfield was $1,057. The median house price was $240,000. Exactly 4 years later, the median rent skyrocketed upward to $1,630, which is roughly a 54% increase. And the median house price soared to $378,100. Similarly, that was around a 58% increase. For reference, according to the Federal Reserve, wages have only gone up 5.3%. So there's a huge difference between 54% and 5.3%. Everyone who wants to move to Penfield should have the right to rent or buy an attainable house or apartment at an attainable price. On page 58 of the town's comprehensive plan, it mentions future consideration to accessory dwelling units. Even as this is a start, it can be more can be done. Retrofitting or redeveloping underutilized property could help stop the sprawl eastward while providing more diverse housing options. Penfield claims to be a town of planned progress. What better way to plan for progress than to ensure those who want to move here can? We in Penfield deserve to be a community for all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Daniel. Good luck with your exams. Okay.
All right, so does anybody else want to speak?
Yeah.
Tim Murphy.
Come ahead, Tim.
Good evening, Town Board.
Hello.
Tim Murphy, 48 Corral Drive. I have 4 things tonight. 1 is a comment and 3 are questions. So first, I just wanted to go on record, and I think other people would say the same. Al Hibner and Donna Spinella eloquently said what a lot of us wanted to say. You know, we support the town adopting rules and regulations around the use of renewable energies. 9 years ago, when I installed the solar in my house, the first thing I did is I came to the town and said, what kind of guidance can I get? And they said, we don't have any. So 9 years later, I can tell you it's probably one of the best investments in science projects I've ever done. On days like today, you can't tell, but I just got my RG&E bill, and I still have 300 kilowatt hours of credits. So just to tell people, I mean, in New York State, in Penfield, you can make those kind of investments, and they do have paybacks, and they're feel good. So again, just wanted to say, please go forward with it. Let's make sure, you know, we support other people that want to make similar investments. So thank you. My 3 questions. So you've heard this before. It's about the budget. I was before you a couple different times, and I didn't get the answers I was looking for. I was very dissatisfied. And I sat here tonight listening to the library folks asking for money. And I think I pointed out to you after myself and a couple other interested community members went through the 2025 budget that we had questions. Less so about the operating budget, more so about the fund balances. And I sent a letter. I sent it to you after the meeting on January 6th, and I got no reply. No acknowledgement, no thank you. We had seven different recommendations on what you could do differently. There is plenty of money in fund balances to support some of the things that we want to do in the present. There's money appropriated to future cost of living and healthcare expenses to 4 years out, unknowns. I've mentioned this before. I think that's disingenuous. I think the fact that we always are talking about the flat tax rate is really not something that at least resonates with me. And as others have said, you know, we're speaking up and saying, hey, let's make investments in our community. So I don't expect another answer here, Mr. Supervisor, but Jeff, I sent you a note. I sent it to all of you. No acknowledgement, no thank you. And again, we spent a lot of time looking at this with you, for us. I have to remind myself that you folks work for us, the community. It's not the other way around. So when we ask questions, we expect answers. So that's my second. And my third question is, I sent you an email, Mr. Supervisor, on November 20th. I associate myself with Color Penfield Green and some other community organizations, and there's so much talk now about development. And I think the wild card is a lot of us don't understand some of the terms, some of the underlying foundations, including zoning. So Jeff, I sent you a note 2 weeks ago, asked if you could offer somebody from the staff that could talk to a group of us in the coming year so that we could get smarter and be better informed. Again, no reply. I expect better than that. I know it's a busy season, but Jeff, you've asked us to reach out. I've reached out. I've gone to the meetings and asked you the similar questions. I expect a reply. Lastly, want to know if Costco has approached the town of Penfield at all since their withdrawal of the sketch plan.
We've had a meeting with developers in the area because nothing is before the planning board yet, but they will, I don't know if they'll come back or not, but yes is the quick answer.
Okay, so there's continued interest, and there's a lot of people passionate on both sides of do they want Costco or not. But the fact that, again, the conversation is still alive, don't know what next steps are. You may not know what next steps are. But again, I think a high degree of transparency and communication around what's happening is very appropriate. And again, I mentioned it before, and I still feel strongly about this, the due diligence part of this on both sides. What could Costco possibly add to the community? And obviously, folks, they see the negatives in traffic and density and the like. But again, I think the whole effort deserves a due diligence. And we know Costco has our zip codes. We know people, including myself, go to Costco to save 20 cents a gallon of gas in Brighton, or Citygate, I should say. We know Costco knows their numbers. They're interested in Penfield for a reason. Again, we'd like to have a conversation, have them tell us why, have us tell them what we possibly could get out of this, and then make an informed decision. So, thank you for sharing that. Again, I expect replies to my questions and points about the budget. Is that something that I could look forward to in the near term?
Yeah, what was your 20th email? Because I missed that.
So I'll resend it to you when I get home.
Yeah, no, do that.
But remember, I had gone to sit down with a supervisor,
Yeah,
and on behalf of the Color Penfield Green and the St. Joseph's Group around housing,
yeah.
we wanted to have a staff member come and talk to us just to inform us about.
Oh, I'm with you. I know that Carrie put together something on development in general that was put out to people. Maybe that isn't what you were looking for.
Absolutely. We were just looking to have a sit-down. Somebody that could go through at a very high level. There's all kinds of zoning categories.
Yeah.
We've got all kinds of questions. What's the difference between planned development and multi-use, just as an example?
Yeah.
So again, people are going to make up their own facts if we don't know, how to put definitions around things. So that was the request, Jeff.
Got it.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, anybody else?
Anybody else want to speak? Oh.
A suggestion and a question. If we can't seem to get our budget right for the library, do we owe it to our community to look at other models, such as Bethlehem, which is a comparably sized and demographically similar community in Albany, where their library budget is separated out and voted on by the taxpayers, and their total revenue for a year, for this year, was $4.6 million? Would we be okay with that? If we can't get it right, we owe it to them to have those discussions. And next I have a question. Okay, now that we've had an acknowledgement that Costco is back, and someone has had a conversation with them, have you had any conversations about pilot agreements?
Well, usually this isn't a back and forth, but I don't know if the town does pilots. I think it's usually through the county, so I don't know.
The implications for the town and the schools are profound. The Costco on the other side of town got $3.6 million. We need to know what that means for us, this community, and our schools. Thank you.
I have absolutely no idea what you're talking about with pilot agreements. So if that's a direct question, if we can just, can I ask for comments?
I work with public schools across the state, and I've seen pilot agreements just gut them. And developers have to come in to get a payment in lieu of taxes with some sort of give back. Now, the give back might be low-income housing. The give back might be employment. But to give back decades of taxes for something like a Costco is something we have to think very carefully about. Please know also that I started looking into the pilot agreements that we have right here in Penfield. We have a sitting pilot agreement for the gardens at Penfield with home leasing that was signed in 2019. I would like to understand, what does that mean for our budget? And are they fully in compliance with their promises in that pilot agreement, Jeff, for low-income housing units and employment?
Okay. Sorry, let me clarify. So understand what a pilot agreement is, but I was missing the conversation, so it sounds like there's some or some other backstory, or it seemed to be a directed question as to whether or not the town has entered into a pilot agreement. Go ahead.
If we had conversations with Costco involving any developers here, our attorneys, our staff, did the issue of pilot agreements, which absolutely follow Costco when they come into a community, have those occurred?
Okay, so I can...
Any discussions with anybody about a pilot?
Thank you.
Yeah.
So I want the board to be thinking very carefully about what pilots mean and don't mean in this community. And I would urge you to take a look at the pilot we have with home leasing right now, signed in 2019, and what that means for the town of Penfield and the Webster Central School District. I'm happy to send it to you all.
Thank you.
I can touch on that a little bit, but go ahead. Anybody else?
Person over there?
Yeah, come ahead.
Hello, I'm Judy Dobles, and I live at 1886 Harris Road, and I've been a resident here for 34 years.
Judy, Could you please spell your last name?
Dobles.
Thank you.
And I just wanted to put my support behind the library. When I was working, I didn't, but now that I'm retired, I go there once a week. And the thing that I love about the library is how it serves everyone in our community from 2 years old. You go by the little room with all the kids' books. You've got all sorts of educational things going on. You've got groups using the library. You've got all the different types of media. And to me, it's just an incredible resource for our community. And I'm just very supportive of having that continue.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, anybody else?
All right, I have a statement, an email.
Yeah.
This email is from Sue Unclis, 1340 Plank Road. With all the increased development down the 250 quarter and the proposed addition of Costco, it is time for the town supervisor and the board to stop ignoring the residents of Penfield who want and need adjustments to the firearm discharge map. Changing the name of the map did nothing to fix this public safety issue. The map is severely outdated and needs to be adjusted. With this increased development, there are obvious additional areas now that need protection from inappropriate and illegal weapon discharge. There are also several other critical areas in the town that are in need, and the supervisor and the board are fully aware of where these areas are. Previous objections for the map's renovation are irrelevant. Agriculture and sports should never be ahead of public safety. By not amending the map, at the very least, the town is in violation of their own core beliefs, which state, in part, maintaining a safe and healthy environment for all and standing for rightful and fair justice for all. We are reminding the town that their next work session is scheduled for December 18th.
Okay. Anything else? So I was just going to touch on the library. I may just repeat what I said, but talking to Brett Holly, who's the president of the Board of Trustees, I mean, the board is not looking to undercut or, the library budget, certainly. We're going through an audit process, actually, that begins next week. And I've been going through a learning process, and Brett told me some of the history. And I'll just reiterate, coming in January, we need to have a discussion on the library's future and how that looks like and what we can do to improve the library. But just like any budget, it's kind of a living, breathing thing, so it doesn't just come to an end. So there'll be an opportunity to make changes if we need to. The library has a large fund balance, potentially, and we're going to have those discussions in January. So I see people shaking their heads, but well, it is. It can be changed. And in terms of the 80,000 difference, we've committed to make up that difference if the need arises. And we've had a new comptroller. What did I say?
You said you were going to give that $80,000. Now you're saying if the need arises. You went back on what you said at the beginning of this meeting.
Well, the board has agreed, I'll say this, that we can take 80,000 out of our fund balance, the town fund balance, and give it to the library fund balance, which can be used for the budget. Well, we can do that. Okay. Okay.
So Jeff, can I
Yeah.
just make a suggestion that
Sure.
perhaps you and the comptroller, and I understand that there was other feedback sent from the New York State comptroller on our budget. It sounds like there are still details that need to be hammered out as to the mechanics that are compliant with regulatory audit requirements, municipal town budgeting rules, and I know our attorney has also researched this. Rather than having kind of this haphazard, can we ask that you, the comptroller, and the Board of Trustees really look at the mechanics of it, and then if a resolution for an amendment to the budget needs to be raised to the town board, then bring us something for official action, because otherwise I'm having a hard time really following the numbers. It's my understanding that there was a break in communication, that's clear, but the library does have a fund. There's a budget for the library. The town has a fund. The town has a budget, and it's just now a matter of kind of finding the right way to fund all of these initiatives, and we can't do it in this type of, unofficial back and forth. So can we just find a way to make it happen, either wherever the funds come from, so long as it's compliant with the law, and then bring something that the board can act on?
Sure.
I don't think it's beneficial to have haphazard comments tonight.
Agreed, and I think the other thing to keep in mind is what our library is looking at is they have payments due at the beginning of January. So I think they're struggling to ensure, do they make those payments? Those were some of the services that they knew they would have to cut. So that's a sense of urgency and making sure that they do get something in writing acknowledged, because they are going to have to start paying bills.
Yeah, and I absolutely don't believe any cut will be made or anyone will have to be laid off based on the budget, based on the services and everything we went through. And we're not going to go through each line item, but anyway.
Right, so for alleged, right, they have a board of trustees, we have our comptroller, so, right, for purposes of an actual legislative session, we've got to stick with the rules of the order of our session, and so I think this needs to fall back to an actual, either a work session topic or a resolution.
I do, if I could add one more statement.
Sure.
I'd like to say that you say that there were no cuts. There are absolutely cuts to the budget. Our budget is at
I know it's-
the budget that was given to us is less than the operating budget for 2024. $80,000 less than this year that we're currently in's budget. That is a cut. That is a definite decrease in money. So please do not mince words and tell us that we did not take away funding. The money that was in the library fund budget is separate. That is not part of the town budget. We also have another problem, that we have a grant that was given to us that in order to keep that grant coming, that for materials, for books and other services, we have to have it in our budget from the town budget in order to be matched. If not, they're going to take that away. And that's a significant amount.
I'm aware of that, and I think you're fine with the grant as far as I know.
I will be the president starting in January, and I will not sign something that is not legally correct. And if it says that we are not going to have it in our budget, and that it cannot be matched, I refuse to sign it, just to let you know.
Well, I wish you were in the conversation. I mean, we're going to have to end this, but I've been having good conversation with Brett. I didn't realize he's going to be out January 1st, but we get in January, if we need to amend a budget for any reason, we'd have the ability to do that. So.
I think I can speak for Brett in saying that he also wants it in writing as soon as possible, so that, as Linda said, we can start planning for the services for our patrons in our town.
I'm with you. And that was a conversation with Brett today, and all the services that were in the budget will be covered based on the budget. As far as I know, that was our intent.
Well, one of the big concern that we have is that with all of the cost of living increases and everything, that we will not have enough of salary to last us all the way through the end of the year. And so if that happens, then we're going to have to cut hours. That's also going to be an inconvenience that our residents are definitely going to feel. And that's why we need to start planning for these things, so that we don't run out of money and have to close the library completely.
Yeah, you won't have to. And
Jeff, so we're now getting to issues of fact that I think, again, the Board of Trustees and the town comptroller and you need to sit through and kind of go.
I'm with you.
And be transparent. We need to, both sides need to be transparent.
Yeah, I'm with you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer.
All right, I want to make sure anybody else want to speak? Okay, I'll close the public hearing. I don't think, do we have any additions, deletions to the agenda? All right, we'll move on. Next item on the agenda is approval of the minutes from October 30th and November 6th legislative meeting of the town board. Is there any additions to that?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Roll call vote, please, Amy?
Barry?
Aye.
Lee?
Aye.
Leenhouts?
Aye.
Ockenden?
Aye.
Teglash?
Aye.
5 ayes.
All right, do we have any petitions tonight?
No.
Okay, we'll begin with resolutions with law and finance. Madam Clerk?
Appointment of Deputy Receiver of Taxes.
So moved.
Second.
By this resolution, the town appoints M&T Bank as Deputy Receiver of Taxes for the town, effective 1/1/25.
Vote, please.
Barry?
Aye.
Lee?
Aye.
Leenhouts?
Aye.
Ockenden?
Aye.
Teglash?
Aye.
5 ayes. Authorize the supervisor to sign lease agreement with the Penfield Symphony Orchestra.
By this resolution, the supervisor would be authorized to renew a lease agreement that we have with the Penfield Symphony Orchestra, where we lease office space in the Down Mac building on Jackson Road.
Do you move it?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Thank you.
Okay, vote.
Barry?
Aye.
Lee?
Aye.
Leenhouts?
Aye.
Ockenden?
Aye.
Teglash?
Aye.
5 ayes. Authorizing use of remaining funds from American Rescue Plan Act, ARPA, allocated by Monroe County to address senior and youth projects.
So moved.
Second.
By this resolution, the town would award the remaining $135,212 received in ARPA funding to replace the Channing Philbrick pedestrian bridge.
Vote.
Barry?
Aye.
Lee?
Aye.
Leenhouts?
Aye.
Ockenden?
Aye.
Teglash?
Aye.
5 ayes. Awarding a contract for the construction related to the replacement of the Channing Philbrick Park pedestrian bridge.
So moved.
Second.
At the last work session, we did review the bids received for the construction and the contract overview for the Philbrick Pedestrian Bridge project. The bids are attached to the resolution, and I would move for the awards as written.
Barry?
Aye.
Lee?
Aye.
Leenhouts?
Aye.
Ockenden?
Aye.
Teglash?
Aye.
5 ayes. Authorization for supervisor to sign a contract with the MRB Group for construction administration of observation services for the new Channing Philbrick Park pedestrian bridge replacement project.
In tandem to, so moved.
Second.
In tandem to Resolution 180, by this resolution, the supervisor would be authorized to enter into those contracts.
Barry?
Aye.
Lee?
Aye.
Leenhouts?
Aye.
Ockenden?
Aye.
Teglash?
Aye.
5 ayes. Budget amendment for the construction of DPW facility.
So moved.
Second.
Or move as written for this one. Thank you.
Barry?
Aye.
Lee?
Aye.
Leenhouts?
Aye.
Ockenden?
Aye.
Teglash?
Aye.
5 ayes. Okay, hold on, people.
Okay.
Wait, we still have more?
Yes, we do.
Sorry. Budget transfers for the general fund and budget amendments in the general fund.
So moved.
Second.
Whereas transfers of certain funds are necessary for end-of-year reconciliations, these amendments to the budget are within the recreation accounts, as well as the, actually, just taking a quick look, it looks like it's more than just recreation accounts, but does hit cross-functional departments in various amounts. I'll move those as written. And I did mean to raise this as a comment in Resolution 182 for the budget amendment for DPW facility, and seeing Bob reminded me of it. Mr. Moore, if you can also submit for the board following the meeting as just to give a project status update for that appropriation, please. I did not see any other dollar amounts unless the board had any for the budget amendments in which you'd like further explanation. None of it rose to such a as high of a dollar threshold for me. Okay, then I'll move those as written.
For 183. Barry,
Aye. Lee?
Aye.
Leenhouts?
Aye.
Ockenden?
Aye.
Teglash?
Aye.
5 ayes. The next and last resolution for community services, I see that the wrong resolution number is on it, and that should be 184. It says 167.
I'm sorry, I think it's because it was from a prior.
Yes, you are correct. Okay, I'm sorry.
So you were right the
Yep,
first
that's-
time.
This is, okay, so then actually, we're holding off on this until we're ready for old business. I think we're ready for old business. Okay.
Surprise.
Old business. Authorization to adopt update to the Town of Penfield Recreation and Parks Master Plan.
Moved as written.
Second.
Whereas the Penfield Town Board resolution on September 6, 2023 authorized the 2024 Recreation and Parks Master Plan 5-year update. This is what our committee, our Parks and Rec Committee special for the 5-year plan. They've been working since the spring of 2023. It included a survey that went out to residents, and they took all that information and put together a plan. The plan is available out on our website. Thank you goes to our master plan committee members, Andrew Urquhart, who was the chair, Pam, Sabrina, Tim, Linda Cole, Don Hoyler, John Schmilk, Niraj Shah, Alex DeBella, and William Ladamasky. Oh, I'm sorry, I just buried that word. William, I'll say William. But good job to those people for this great plan.
Okay, Barry?
Aye.
Lee?
Aye.
Leenhouts?
Aye.
Ockenden?
Aye.
Teglash?
Aye.
5 ayes.
Okay, no new business.
Supervisor, I do have a motion to enter into executive session for the board to review a personnel and wage matter.
I'll second that.
Okay, do we vote?
I don't think we need a vote, but I will do it. You do?
Yes.
Okay, sorry about that. Barry?
Aye.
Lee?
Aye.
Leenhouts?
Aye.
Ockenden?
Aye.
Teglash?
Aye.
5 ayes.
Okay, I'll adjourn. And our next town board meeting will be January 8th, 2025. I call this meeting adjourned. Thanks, everyone. Please drive safely.
Thank you.